Hello everyone and welcome to the Sportiest stream. Nice to see you all here tonight. The Rocket League Splash Series Season 5, the Tsunami Cup, heading into its final week of the regular season here. The Rocket League Splash Series Season 5, sponsored by GamersOn.tv, Invisible Entertainment, Last 7 Gaming, Heady Scarf King, Purchase and Resell, and Claim to Fame Entertainment. This is a best of 5 series, and as you guys can see, Aspyre is back on the stream, where they were here for their one and only win this season in Week 2 against 909. Other than that, they have struggled at a now currently a 1-5 record against the Dysfunctional side, which is also not doing very well, at a 2-4 record. So, again, both these teams have had horrible seasons so far. The nice thing is, you cannot miss the playoffs. At least this season, you cannot miss the playoffs of the Rocket League Splash Series. But still, knowing how these sides are, it's no easy feat to do well in these matchups, and especially if you have a tough first round, you're in a terrible position to do well. Teams have a lot they need to prove as for tonight, as this match will be getting started in just a few minutes. Aspyre only 1 loss, Dysfunctional at 2. So again, for both these teams, wins are needed. Wins are needed quite badly. But again, these teams, they still have great opportunities for themselves to do well, and we've seen a good number of upset runs before. This could be another one of them. See about that. For now, though, play is gonna be on them to find success. Again, no easy feat here for either side. Let's get that prediction, guys. Here, 4 or 5 minutes from that match start time. Again, you guys probably love to see this series begun as soon as we can. Again, that's what we're waiting on. We're just waiting on these players to on in. Again, a best of 5 series, so then don't worry, we'll be getting this underway in just a few minutes. I'm gonna message them to let them know that they can join on in if they want to. Not the game, but the lobby. Yeah, I'm just gonna get things hopefully sorted out in just a few minutes here. Again, how about that delay? We're just talking with these teams, but again, I've really mentioned all that I really can about these teams. For Dysfunctional, I should mention who they've won against. It was Team Cypher, who we've seen on the stream, lose to other sides as well as Undead Esports, who are also not having a very good season. So for these sides, they've struggled this season. They really do need wins, and this is going to be a big win for them, especially at the end of the season, getting some confidence and also better seeding. These teams are actually pretty close to each other in the rankings, so very likely the winner of this will advance over the other team. So that's a huge deal. Even if it's 1 spot, it's still a little easier, it's a little better, and it's a little bit more confidence, and you can get that. Again, just waiting on these teams to in here as we can, and again, we'll wait on them to join again for this best of 5. Take a look at our schedule. We actually have one other match tonight here. It'll be an LS Champs matchup, Astro Nexus taking on AEY in the semifinals. That match has been booked for the stream for a while, so I'm super excited that we get to see it. That will be a best of 7 matchup, and we've got a couple more matches on the stream before I'll take my end of March vacation. So if you guys want bookings, not a lot of time to do it here in March. If you don't get it done soon, you just have to wait until April. Yeah, guys, I am going to take a little vacation, like a 10-day vacation. Just away from everything so that I can recharge and get back and be as good as new. Again, we are just still waiting on Aspyre and Dysfunctional to run in the lobby. As soon as they are here, we'll be good to go. Again, we are hopefully gonna get everything sorted out as quickly as we can. Again, just getting things up and running, and we're about 2 minutes away from that match start time. Again, I'm making sure we get these people in this matchup. Again, it's a pretty early match, I do realize that. I know a lot of people don't like matches this early. I don't mind, actually. Nice, and it's somehow still bright outside. That's how early this is. So, always fun. Yeah, my window is over here. You guys would know my window's over here if you saw somebody, whenever I stream, like, midday. You can always see there's a little bit of light behind me, because there's a little bit of a crack in between my window and the blinds that I have over it. At night, it doesn't matter, because there's not as much light, but during like the middle of the day when I sometimes stream for like Europe and stuff, if I ever do, it's not common. Yeah, you guys can see that light behind me, which is always interesting, especially on like ERS. ERS specifically, you definitely see that light behind me. And we're just getting things hopefully put it out as soon as we can here. Again, for what will be a best of 5. Again, I keep repeating myself here. I really shouldn't. Again, I started 1 and 5, Dysfunctional 2 and 4. Dysfunctional are an org. We've actually seen, I think, this org on this stream a couple times. You guys recognize the name XR, X-Resi? He's on Dysfunctional. Don't believe he is anymore. Again, this is a different team. Decently, I would say, decently high level. Again, this is part of the Tsunami Cup, so. And we are just hoping that these teams will join on in as soon as they can. For this series, our first match will be 2 different matches tonight. And 2 separate streams as well. We'll be streaming these matches separately because of how much of a time difference they are in between them. A lot of you are looking forward to that match after this, which again is part of the playoffs, so. And we'll see how this match goes. Really sitting a huge part for these sides. I expect to see some solid rosters coming in. As for Aspyre, they have already joined. It's Panzler, James, and Frog jumping in. And on the side of Dysfunctional, they have a couple of options. Specifically only 3. Aspect, Swavy, and Stealth. Hopefully they'll be joining in just a moment. Part of Dysfunctional. Aspyre as Dysfunctional are both orgs in this matchup. And we've seen Dysfunctional. I think they also went by DYS in the past. Yeah, they've been on stream specifically, I think, with the Golden Cup. Maybe no, it might have been Up and Coming Cup. Anyways, it was part of one of those 2 leagues, maybe both, that we've seen Dysfunctional as an org before. Again, XR or X-Resi was on that org in the past. He has played with that org on the stream. It's again a different situation, I think. We're waiting on them to join. As soon as they're here, we'll be good to get things going. Again, for our Rocket League Splash Series matchup. And just getting things sorted out, hopefully. Be here any moment. Apologies on those slight delays. You know, they should be here any moment though. For Dysfunctional did reply, so you know they are here. They're probably in a warm-up game, or they're taking a bathroom break. Those are the 2 obvious ones that happen all the time on this stream at this level. But they will be here in just a few minutes. Hopefully, it won't be that late. Again, we have a lot of time, so I don't have a problem if they do come late. But I know, like teams like Aspyre might have an issue if teams do come in late. So we'll hopefully get this match started as soon as possible. I know you guys don't want to wait as well. You want to see the series, as do I. And actually get into it. Speaking of, here's Aspect, Stealth, and Swavy. So they're in and they're ready. So that means everybody's ready to get this matchup underway. Aspyre and Dysfunctional, a best of 5 in the final week of the Tsunami Cup regular season. Aspyre's on the blue, Dysfunctional on the orange. And both these teams Wins are going to be necessary for your seeding in that final bracket. There's just no easy situation for either of these teams now, but maybe they can end their season with a little bit more confidence. A team like Aspyre, their only win against 909 was it. It's actually one of the better teams in this division. The rest of the season has not gone that way. They have been the ones to struggle overall, and I think a lot of it may just come down to consistency. We saw against 909, maybe that was just them at their best and haven't been able to recreate that. I mean, right now we're seeing just a lot of missed challenges from Aspyre. They just feel so beatable at this point. And the early goal will fall in for Aspect. Dysfunctional are in the lead as it's the Aspyre's the dysfunctional one right now, as we're just seeing a lot of really delayed plays. And you feel like it looks like as if they're at a rank disadvantage to the other teams in this tournament. They really aren't. Dysfunctional maybe just has them beats in so many other teams. If Dysfunctional can do it, then you know a lot of other teams definitely have done it already, and that is just beating Aspyre these challenges quite easily. I was gonna find something a little different than that to attack at this net with. Right now we're just seeing a bit of sloppiness from Aspyre overall, and that's never going to be a good thing for any team. Whenever your gameplay is one where it's not all that cleanly made, you really only make things tougher for yourself that way, not for your opponents. Dysfunctional at this point. I think they're just waiting for the next time Aspyre make a mistake, but they can't wait too long. Aspyre are still searching upfield, and again, they maybe haven't been all that cleanly rotated. A one goal difference is very doable. We've seen Aspyre again play exceptionally solid Rocket League in the past against 909, so they definitely have that ability to do that here. And Dysfunctional really can't take this easily, as that one's wide. Panzler will tie it up at 1. And it is Aspyre with an answer back off the back wall, as Frog, James, Panzer all make it work. Aspyre with a tied game. And again, as I mentioned, even though they have not been all that clean, it really does feel like both these teams have had those issues. You can just tell. Consistency just isn't something that these teams are all that successful in. And so often, you know, when teams are struggling in the league, it's because of the lack of consistency. It's because of them just not being an overall consistent team. And we're seeing that here with both these sides. There's another goal now from Frog. And it's Aspyre who have now made it 2 goals back and have taken the lead with it. Functional. Now it's them who have those rotational issues, and you're just seeing this back wall left wide open at times. Overall, these challenges from Dysfunctional just, I don't really know what to say about them. It's just, again, they aren't putting up much of a block here, and that back wall is still a struggle for them. That's another chance for James. Now Frog, again, nobody on the back wall. Vanzler will keep it up for James, but it will be cleared by Stealth. And yeah, Dysfunctional, we're starting to see maybe what the major issue is for them. If they aren't covering that back wall, teams are going to take advantage. And even Aspyre, who again have only won once this season, will fully recognize those errors. That back wall isn't covered from Dysfunctional. They're going to have a very tough time keeping it that way. We'll go down the field with Aspect. Frog challenged inward by James and Stealth. Aspyre taking the ball away. You can just tell Dysfunctional continue to challenge and wait for that mistake. Wait for the Aspyre defense to fall apart, as we've seen so many times already. Aspyre, again, they're playing that back wall defense. They're overall keeping a stronger rotation right now than Dysfunctional is. Again, I mentioned earlier that the sloppiness of Aspyre is what's hurting them. And that's still very true. There still is very much a lack of consistency, but you're seeing rotationally they have a rotation down, and Dysfunctional do not. And that's where Aspyre is taking these leads from. As a little misplay there from Stealth, he shoots it at his own net. It's only going to make things better for Aspyre and worse for Dysfunctional. And it feels like how this game has kind of gone for Dysfunctional. It's really gone all downhill from that first goal by Aspyre. Again, confidence-wise, it really matters to these teams to get these wins. And again, as I mentioned already, Aspyre, if they can take this series, they could potentially surpass Dysfunctional in that standings. And make themselves just a little bit better on the seating. And right now, they're en route to do exactly that already in here in Game 1. It's the Aspyre's rotations that are showing that they are just a much more solid unit right now. It's Dysfunctional who, well, are dysfunctional. They don't have that consistency. They don't have that rotation as another own goal off the kickoff for Dysfunctional this time. As Aspyre absolutely panicked on that one. Panzler must have thought someone was there because you don't jump like that unless you're expecting a challenge. And it is Dysfunctional who have now taken this one back off the kickoff for Stealth. And this game has been full of errors, but it has been exciting. Stealth will put a third one in for Dysfunctional. And nearing the end of Game 1, this Dysfunctional side might make the comeback happen. Don't count them out of it. They're definitely making it seem real. It's for Aspyre. Momentum against them. They've got a challenge. They got to challenge a little more aggressively. And so doing so there, but still the Aspyre defense with a lot of things to be worried about. But Frog sending it upfield again. Off the back wall. Second touch! Oh, Frog's hit it! And it's Aspyre with a 2-goal lead. Frog from the midfield, from downtown. And he'll slot that one under both defenders. Aspyre back at it again. Not much game to go here. Dysfunctional are going to run out of time if they don't start soon. This Game 1 has been active for this side since the very first moment. And while it's been full of a lot of blunders, you just saw one there off the corner. Again, it has been excitingly close. And you can tell just how much this matters. This match really matters to these teams. They recognize this is a team that they can beat. This is a team that, you know, if they can beat, they can just keep themselves ahead of. So much seeding relying on this matchup here between both of these sides, and again, it comes in the final week of the regular season when everything you've worked for in that regular season comes to its end. Right now for Aspyre, they're one game closer to potentially surmounting Dysfunctional on the leaderboards. Only 2 more, but so far both these teams are the ones that have looked a lot more organized with those rotations. Still, though, I think both these teams have a lot to fix going into Game 2. Good start at a 5-3 win, but again, the defenses of these sides really did struggle. I mean, for Dysfunctional, they just didn't have a rotation to work off of, and, well, we've always... I've made a joke before about teams having no rotation and doing just fine. It's not a good thing to not have a rotation. It's exceptionally risky, and when you actually don't have a rotation, more likely, you really need to rely on chemistry. If you're not going to have a rotation, they don't have either of that, and you can see the issues it's making here for them. As we go into Game 2, Aspyre looking to do this again and give themselves match points. So much again of this match being determined by a lot of that who's more confident kind of gameplay. It's gonna come off of good starts like this from James. Again, just seeing these win challenges from Aspyre, and again, nobody back for Dysfunctional. Then they are having issues with that rotation, having issues with that playstyle around each other. And again, while Aspyre's had many issues with just consistency overall, Dysfunctional's lack of rotation is a much more egregious mistake that will definitely be countered at this level. If you don't have a rotation, you're already one step behind the vast majority of teams at this playstyle. Aspyre is included in that list. Dysfunctional again, not able to get to the ball there. Aspect to the back wall, second touch. Will he get it? He does, but it is just wide of the net. And Dysfunctional will wait on the end of it as Frog to clear. Swavey waiting on it, but maybe waiting a little bit too long. As off the corner, James, no second touch. Aspyre will put this one away from Dysfunctional. Swavey, no touch there. Panzler will take it away for Aspyre, but in the midfield, free shot saved by James. And it's Dysfunctional who are fighting some plays on net, but None of them are working. This game continues to near to its close. Well, near and near, I say, to its close. Not even close to its close just yet. Aspyre are gonna get a little bit more confident, a little bit better, and a little bit stronger. They still have yet to score that second goal, but they're getting close to it. And Dysfunctional, I think that second goal for Aspyre could really spell doom for them in this game. And Dysfunctional overall, the team has not been one that has been able to, you know, I don't think they're one of those teams that's shown, again, long-term consistency in a match like this. And I do worry if this lead goes against them. What are they going to do to recover to it? I don't really know if they have a plan in the event that they do go multiple goals down against Aspyre here. Aspyre, they're just focused on that second goal, getting it some way in the future. Frog stopped by Stealth, and Functional cleared again, but Aspyre back in. James to Panzler, that one's in front, and nearly a really great taken opportunity there, but the shot was just a bit low from Aspyre. And Dysfunctional will send it away again. In game 2, much closer, much lower scoring. Still, it's Aspyre. We're one step ahead. James Swavey will have this one. And it's sent back in, and Aspyre looking in the midfield for these plays, but they're just not getting to it. Now Aspect, doink, off the back wall. Frog with a great touch, and Aspyre will just take this ball away. This touch from Swavey. Now looking for Aspect. Infield. Saved by James. It is Aspyre again who are just holding on to that goal they scored so early on in this game. Looking for number 2. That one just wide from Panzler. A great save from Dysfunctional. Steal the attack. And nobody saw James. Aspyre will double their lead. And after all this work, it feels well worth it. Aspyre have made it happen. 2 goals up as we're going to head into that final minute and a half. It's Dysfunctional at this point, who again have not made adjustments. Sure, there's less goals this game, but it doesn't change the fact that Dysfunctional's rotation is still well and truly off. Aspyre, and just playing to that the way they are. Got a rotation, they've got knowledge of how they're supposed to play around each other. Dysfunctional just doesn't feel that way, doesn't feel as coordinated. A lack of passing, definitely notable on this Dysfunctional side. Much of what they do is they just hit the ball upfield. And they hope that they can make something out of it, and it just doesn't work that way in Rocket League. You've got to have a plan for everything, you've got to have a plan for what you're going to do next. And Dysfunctional haven't shown us that plan, haven't shown us any of that so far. It's what's cost them here against Aspyre as James looking for 3. That little shot on, saved by Aspect. Swaver will come across. Just like that, Aspyre is still with it. Aspect, a big clear. Gets around Frog. Stealth now. Dunks ahead, but Aspyre still waiting as a missed touch. Frog will get a great touch there to keep it away and just keep Dysfunctional out. Another save from Frog. Again, he is really feeling it here. Frog getting a lot of plays straight directly on his head. Without a lot of time to react to either of them, as now James, his chance, double save. Aspyre are holding it in on the backfield. Dysfunctional, throwing everything they have upfield, that's off the crossbar. And that one will surely end game 2 for them. Time running out for Dysfunctional. And yeah, that's going to end it there. Game 2 will go to Aspyre in a shutout. They will now be 1 game away from sweeping this team, what would be their 2nd win of the season. For Dysfunctional, again, if they lose this next game, they lose their spot to Aspyre, so they're in no beautiful situation here to things going, but you know, again, it's a best of 5. There's still a lot more to go in this matchup. It has been Aspyre who have been that better team. As we head into game number 3, we've got to see something different from Dysfunctional. At this point, this is kind of one of those kind of matchups where It feels like nothing's really going well. These teams are going to have to do something differently. What is Dysfunctional gonna do? Well, they're gonna start with a goal early on from Stealth. That might be able to help them here just a little bit. I see little Masha coming in with the drink break. We'll get you the drink break, Masha. Welcome in. Nice to see you. As again, Dysfunctional right now have to make a reverse sweep here against Aspyre to win this matchup, the final week of the regular season for the Rocket League Splash Series. Either of these sides doing all that amazingly, but because it's in the Tsunami Cup, there actually are no teams eliminated before the playoffs. Still, I wouldn't say it'd be easy for either of these sides to be successful. I think this match holds a lot more of confidence than seeding. Because again, seeding, no matter if Aspyre does take the seed out of Dysfunctional or not, doesn't really make too much of a difference. They'll give them technically an easier opponent. Again, I wouldn't say it's much easier though. But they are making things happen as a double tap saved by Stealth. Aspyre now attacking on that Nets, and well, as soon as they started it, with that amazing double tap attempt there from James, or I'd actually say Panzer was the one who had it. James was the one who followed up. It just kind of fell apart quickly. I want to see more of that from Aspyre, more of them, you know, creating some of these scary opportunities. It doesn't have to be solo plays. I want to see a lot more of the passes, a lot more of the connections, and maybe this is it, but touch too high. It's a clear from Aspect. Dysfunctional at this point, waiting on defense. James, up his frog, shot on. This one saved away by Stealth. Swavey bumped out. And Dysfunctional not on the same page. So they're gonna get challenged from all over with Frog, Swavey. They'll keep it up. Aspyre waiting in the midfield, and we've seen a lot of that from them where they just wait when these teams have the ball in the corner. They aren't willing to challenge, they aren't willing to take the risk of playing that high up. That's a place where Dysfunctional can really take advantage because Aspyre not challenging there means it's given space. I think if you're given space, you might as well take as much of it as you can, especially that close to the net. Aspyre not winning much on the 50s either. Stealth shot go a little wide, and Dysfunctional again at that 1-goal lead, hoping to hold here. They've done so well for the first half of the game, but as we're seeing with the second half, this Aspyre side is recognizing the lack of time and starting to play a little bit more aggressively, a little bit higher up the field, and eventually I feel like something's going to break for Dysfunctional. Aspyre just have not been creative enough on making opportunities. Fire now, flip reset, has it! Oh, that's just gonna fall through! Nobody from Aspyre challenged that! And Dysfunctional, they'll take it. It wasn't amazing, but yeah, just no one from Aspyre challenging. You've got a challenge there on that play from Swavey. Force them to make a play happen. And again, he's catching Aspyre on the big mistake they've made this series, which has been waiting for these shots. This level, when you wait for shots from that close to the net, you're going to be scored on more often than not. A risky play to do that because you are leaving everything up to the other team, and if they can put a good shot on net. And generally on defense, you're not going to be playing well when it's up to the other team to decide if they want to score or not. Offense has not been able to save them either. It saved them the last couple of games with how they've been playing. Especially game one. I mean, game one, reminder, was not a good game for Aspyre when it came to defense. They gave up a good couple of goals that they really should not have. The reason they won was because their offense was also playing strong, and Dysfunctional's defense was falling apart. Aspyre, they've got to get goals soon, and maybe there's a chance. Infield to Panzer. This one, second touch, and will be put in the back of the net. Aspyre not done here with game 3. They're 1 goal closer to tying things up here against Dysfunctional. If they do want to surpass them in the rankings, they do need to win the series in a sweep. At least I believe they do. I'd have to check on that. Dysfunctional again! A dunk from Stealth, and well, Aspyre's challenges just continue to hurt them here. As there is a dunk from Stealth, and really about the only thing he could do there with that little amount of boost. And it's Dysfunctional who have taken this lead and have just not given it up at all. Aspyre's offense, again, has been quite lackluster this game. And yeah, really, again, it seems like this match does come down a lot to the Aspyre's offense and how well they play. Those last 2 games, they had a pretty solid place on offense, they had some good midfield possession. This game, they've just been none of that. None of the offense we've seen from earlier this series. For Aspyre, things are only going to get tougher for them if they don't start getting goals soon. Frog, upfield, Swavey will keep it out. His second touch will get through the midfield. Panzer now has to go at this point with low time for Aspyre. Frog in the midfield. Panzer won't get to it. Aspect will control, but Aspyre still staying upfield as Dysfunctional. Running out of time. James, saved by stealth. Want a whiff there from Frog. Aspyre will continue to just wait around and have that time tick away from them. Where's the shots? Where's the chances? That one wide. In comes a follow-up. And while it wasn't great, it will go in. Panzer giving Aspyre 17 seconds to come back here in Game 3. All it takes is one shot to turn things around here for Aspyre. You need one goal, a late goal. A goal to make this game tied, and maybe it will come here on this chance. James, low roller, Swavey keeps it out. And Dysfunctional the other way. Swavey, left resets, won't be able to make much of it. He won't have to, as Aspyre are going to lose this game here to Dysfunctional. And it is the Dysfunctional org who, again, are looking for that reverse sweep. Infield will be theirs. Again, it was no beautiful result, as I should say. Actually, this Aspyre, I just noticed, can actually win 3-1. So if they win in this next game, also able to overtake Dysfunctional. So Dysfunctional, at the very least, going to Game 5 should do enough for them. As we know, again, these matches have not been pretty from either side. Consistency now being tested on Aspyre. Do they have that consistency on offense to score goals and score them often? I mean, they had 10 shots in this game compared to the 6 of Dysfunctional. They had a lot more shots, a lot more opportunities. Just couldn't make them work. Going to Game 4. This, again, could be the end of the series for Dysfunctional. They have played with fire in those first 2 games, have not been able to take either one of them. Now put themselves in a situation where the series looks like it's against them. Well, they do have a hope to come back in. They've got to do what they did in Game 3 again, and this time prove that it wasn't just Aspyre who couldn't score on that net, that they themselves have just been an overall better side. Aspyre in that last game, definitely getting rid of that maybe overconfidence they had earlier on because of these early game wins against Dysfunctional. And they're far from done in this series. They've got to get one more win, and as we're seeing here, that is not going to be an easy feat with how Dysfunctional are playing in front as well. Another pass from Dysfunctional. They're going to connect on these plays upfield towards each other, and again, that rotation, what they've lacked early on in the series, started to show up here and up here a little bit more as Dysfunctional moving for each other. These plays in front, but so far it's Aspyre who have held the back wall and have held that back line. It is Dysfunctional who continue to push upfield with Swavey. Now clear from Panzer. Off the ceiling, Aspyre. They'll have to watch that clear go to the midfield and get away from them. As Dysfunctional waiting for this one. Already a minute and a half gone by, no goals from either side. It's, I think, been the longest amount of time so far we've seen that we've not seen a goal. No, wait, it has not been. We've seen goals come in much later, but this is how much it takes to get these chances on net. There's a miss there, and it's an open one for Swavey. One mistake from Aspyre, and that's all it takes for Dysfunctional to take the lead, as Frog there with a pretty simple whiff on that one. And it all took one mistake, and that's where Dysfunctional now have this goal from. Aspyre only making this tougher for themselves without ending the series in Game 3. Now in Game 4, One mistake and already they're on the back foot. Offense has been relatively silenced this game. Who knows if they're going to get that same number of chances they did last game. Be able to make these plays count, and they just, again, have not found anything. Get more shots, to get more offense, get more aggression on this field against Dysfunctional. There's a whiff there from Swavey. Stealth will send it out as Emo as well, giving Aspyre some time to get back on defense. Dysfunctional. Time to push upfield. We'll get a demo here. Swavey, back wall, second touch, and that's going to go well wide as Aspyre. You need to look for just, again, plays downfield, something through the midfield, some sort of connection. Again, their offense has completely collapsed. A lot of it comes down to Dysfunctional, running a lot better of a rotation, but a lot of it also comes into Aspyre. I just don't think they are planning to play as heavily, and you're seeing the issues here with how much defense they're playing. And at some point, your team's going to fall apart, your defense is going to hold you up, and if you don't score at all in a game, you really do put yourself in a terrible position. As Panzer now to James, that one saved away. Stealth will have the clear, but still it's Aspyre on the ball. They have still yet to find that net. Now Panzer, another chance, the flick up high. Stealth has it. James will push it through. And finally Aspyre get it. It comes from Panzer off that touch to the crossbar. Stealth in a position that he can't make much of a save. And Aspyre want this game that badly. Again, they know that they can, again, if they did their research, they'll know that they can surpass Dysfunctional with a win in this game. Even if they were to win in Game 5, Aspyre would not surpass Dysfunctional based on game differential. And they gotta find it too, because once again, Aspyre are nowhere to be found. A whiff from James, and also from Panzer, and also from Frog. Just nobody from Aspyre getting the ball here. They're really only doing this to themselves at this point. And again, it's this lack of consistency that we're seeing from these sides. It's the reason why they are not at the top of the league. Another whiff in front, this time from Panzer, but it may be created a chance as James will send it downfield, and Swavey can't get there. Aspyre have answered back as Panzer's whiff nearly made me think there's going to be another goal for Dysfunctional, but in fact it was Dysfunctional who had overcommitted on that chance. Caused one shot from James on the field, just a big clear, to also result in a big goal. This game tied again. Aspyre still have, again, I'm still looking for that go-ahead goal to take the lead, to take this game. That might be it! Panzler off the infield pass. Although there's been a lot of things this game I haven't been very impressed with, that is not one of them. I love that pass from Frog. Absolutely perfect. And Aspyre with a lead at 44 seconds left here in Game 4. James now off the back wall, second touch! He's hit another double tap! James to himself all over again! And Aspyre take control! Dysfunctional, less than 30 seconds to come back in this game, to not lose their spot in the seeding to Aspyre. Time is running out quickly here in this match, and Dysfunctional, do they have enough time left? Stealth, it's open! Frogs come back, still in front, saved away, and Aspyre will go for one more goal to ice this game, and it will be made. Frog will take it, and that surely will take the series for Aspyre. 3-1. Their performance results in their second win of the season here in the final week of the regular season. It will mean they're going to surpass Dysfunctional in the group seeding. Something to celebrate for Aspyre. The season has not been all that nice to them, and win like this, you know, it doesn't, it may not mean anything because they have already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, and with the fact that everybody in the Tsunami Cup makes it to the playoffs, at the very least, they've given themselves decent, a better seed, a more decent seed here with this win. Beat Dysfunctional here. 3 games to 1. Their season will end at a 2-5 record, as is Dysfunctional, but game differential will favor Aspyre because of that win. And what a win that is. We'll take a look at our schedule. Let you know, again, our later match will be Astral Nexus AEY, so don't wait around. That match should be a good one. And we are going to get we're going to get Aspyre in for a little interview. Sounds like the player joining us will be James. As, again, we'll get to talk with them about this match and really about the season as a whole. Again, for Aspyre, it's not been a good one, but they've been able to find a win here at the very last second. As now joining us in is James. Welcome to the interview. How you doing, James? It's been a rough season for Aspyre, but you end off on a good note going into the playoffs.
Yes, sir. You know, grinding and grinding, working, trying to get better, and paid off the series.
Yeah, against Dysfunctional. You know, this win also means you guys have actually surpassed them in the seeding, so you're gonna have better seeding overall as well. Did you guys know that you could have? Did you guys know before this series that you could have passed Dysfunctional? And if you did, what did it do to change your guys' mentality about this series?
We beat them in all CS quals day 1 before to go into day 2. So in this series, we were just expecting them to improve off of that and know how we play, and they figured that out toward the end. But we kind of just overwhelmed them, and that's how we won.
I mean, it is how you guys did it again. A 3-1 victory. Your only other win against 909. Again, the season. I know you guys don't want to talk too much about the regular season, but you can't acknowledge that you can't not acknowledge that it was not a good regular season for you guys. What happened during the regular season that you guys are gonna make sure doesn't happen in the playoffs?
You know, we're gonna keep putting our pressure, watch other teams, and grind the game more. You know, really want to get ready for the season, get ready for the playoffs and stuff like that. You know, so hopefully we play better. Hopefully you'll see improvement.
And I love to hear that you guys again have had a lot to talk about, a lot I'm sure to really look at here. I mean, just to I guess even add more into what you guys are going to do. What again, you're guaranteed to spot the playoffs. It's not going to be an easy match though. So, what are you guys going to do to give yourself a better time? As you go into the into the playoffs. What are you guys going to do to prepare for that?
You know, recently we picked up a new manager, so we've been getting a lot of good scrims with rank B plus and A teams. So we're gonna keep doing that, doing around 4 scrims a day, and really put in the effort to improve and talk to our coach about it. And hopefully that's enough to win everything. You know.
Again, I love to do that again. Thanks so much for joining us here, James, for this little interview. Again, a 3-1 win. So I've actually streamed both you guys in both your wins this season, so maybe I'm good luck for you guys. But hey, you take your win. You get to go to the playoffs here, and again, off a win over Dysfunctional. Again, thank you so much for joining, James. Before you leave, any shout you have, anything you want to say before we'll end this one off?
Thank you, brother.
All right, I see. James isn't even going to shout at his teammates. All right then.
No, I don't, brother.
Nope. Okay, he doesn't want to shout at his teammates. Well,
Nope.
I see. Well, again, thank you so much for joining in, James, and congrats to Aspyre on the win. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in the playoffs. Good luck.
Thank you.
And that was James there of Aspyre joining in for a little 3-1 victory over Dysfunctional. Again, a little short best of 5. Again, later on we'll have that match in LOS Champs of Astral Nexus and AEY. But for now, we're going to actually end this stream. Thank you all so much for joining the Sportiest stream. It means a lot that you guys are here and are showing your support. and we'll be live again very, very soon. For now, have a great night. Take care. We'll be live again in just a few hours. And again, that will be with the Champs matchup. Astro Nexus AEY for the semifinals. You guys will want to see that when it does go live.